Every year, the firearms industry unveils another cartridge that promises to replace everything that came before it. One season, it's the 6.5 Creedmoor. The next season, it's the 7mm PRC. Every new release arrives wrapped in marketing claims about superior ballistics, flatter trajectories, and game-changing performance. So I decided to ignore the hype and focus on the things that actually matter: ballistic data, real-world ammunition availability, and decades of field results. What I found is that the 30-06 Springfield continues to outperform many of the so-called miracle cartridges hunters are constantly being told they need. More importantly, it's still one of the smartest choices a hunter can make in 2026. Let's break down exactly why this century-old cartridge refuses to go away. I've watched countless cartridges arrive with promises of replacing the old classics. The 6.5 Creedmoor was supposed to revolutionize hunting rifles. Then the 7mm PRC became the latest must-have chambering. Meanwhile, the 30-06 Springfield has quietly continued doing exactly what it has done since 1906, filling tags. Originally developed as a military cartridge, the 30-06 quickly earned its place as one of the most successful hunting rounds ever created. From whitetails and mule deer to elk, moose, and black bear, it has built a record based on real-world performance rather than advertising campaigns. That reputation wasn't earned in laboratory conditions. It was earned in tree stands, mountain basins, river bottoms, and dense timber across North America. With common factory loads ranging from 150 to 180 grains, velocities typically fall between 2,700 and 2,900 feet per second. Muzzle energy generally ranges from 2,900 to over 3,000 foot-pounds. In practical terms, that means plenty of power for large game, useful trajectory for realistic hunting distances, and dependable terminal performance with traditional cup and core, bonded, or all-copper bullets. Just as important, rifles and ammunition are everywhere. Walk into a major sporting goods retailer or a small-town hardware store, and chances are you'll find 30-06 sitting on the shelf right beside 308 Winchester and 270 Winchester. That level of availability matters far more than many shooters realize. When evaluating hunting cartridges, I care more about field performance than marketing brochures. A typical 165 grain 30-06 load leaves the muzzle around 2,800 feet per second. A 180 grain load usually runs close to 2,700. Energy levels generally fall between 2,800 and 3,000 foot-pounds. Those numbers explain why elk guides still smile when they hear someone is carrying a 30-06. With a 200-yard zero, a 165 grain hunting load typically drops 7 to 8 inches at 300 yards. At 500 yards, drop falls in the 45 to 50 inch range, while a 10-mile-per-hour crosswind produces roughly 20 to 24 inches of drift depending on bullet design. Those aren't flashy numbers. They're predictable numbers, and predictable performance consistently puts meat in the freezer. Let's compare it with some popular alternatives. A 308 Winchester pushing a 165 grain bullet generally runs between 2,650 and 2,700 feet per second. Performance is excellent, but energy retention starts falling behind the 30-06 as distances increase. The 6.5 Creedmoor typically launches a 140 grain bullet around 2,650 to 2,700 feet per second. It often drifts less in the wind due to higher ballistic coefficients, but it delivers noticeably less energy when larger animals and heavier bone enter the equation. Then there's the 7mm PRC. A sleek 175 grain bullet can approach 3,000 feet per second, and outperform the 30-06 in trajectory and wind resistance. The trade-off is increased recoil, more expensive ammunition, and reduced availability. The 30-06 occupies a sweet spot between those extremes. It offers meaningful power, manageable recoil, and excellent versatility without forcing hunters into specialized equipment. One criticism often aimed at the 30-06 is recoil. Let's put some actual numbers behind that claim. In an 8-pound hunting rifle, a 165-grain 30-06 load produces roughly 18 to 20 foot-pounds of recoil energy. A 308 Winchester generally falls around 16 to 17. A 6.5 Creedmoor lands between 13 and 15. A 7mm PRC climbs into the low 20s. In other words, the 30-06 kicks more than the mild cartridges, but far less than many magnums. Add a quality recoil pad, proper stock fit, or a suppressor where legal, and most shooters find it entirely manageable. The cartridge provides enough power for serious hunting without crossing into punishing territory. This is where the 30-06 separates itself from many competitors. For deer and antelope, 150 and 165 grain loads work exceptionally well. Classic options like Remington Core-Locked, Winchester PowerPoint, and Federal Fusion offer reliable expansion and clean kills without excessive meat damage. Need better penetration for quartering shots? Step up to bonded bullets such as the Federal Trophy Bonded Tip, Nosler AccuBond, or Barnes TTS-X. When elk, moose, or black bear enter the picture, the cartridge scales effortlessly. 180 grain partitions, bonded bullets, and copper projectiles provide excellent sectional density and deep penetration through heavy bone and muscle. For hunters wanting even more penetration, factory loads are available with bullets weighing 200 to 220 grains. Most 30-06 rifles utilize a 1 in 10 twist rate, allowing them to stabilize these heavier projectiles effectively. The cartridge also works exceptionally well with modern hunting technology. Lead-free options like the Barnes TTS-X and Hornady CX satisfy lead restriction requirements while still delivering excellent terminal performance. Precision-oriented bullets such as the Hornady ELDX and Nosler AccuBond Long Range improve downrange performance without requiring a Magnum cartridge. The ability to hunt everything from antelope to moose using the same rifle platform is one of the strongest arguments for the 30-06. Availability is one of the most overlooked advantages in the hunting world. During the ammunition shortages that followed 2020, many hunters struggled to find trendy cartridges. Meanwhile, 30-06 remained available in many stores because manufacturers continue producing it in enormous quantities. Common loads from Federal, Winchester, Remington, Hornady, Nosler, and Barnes are widely distributed. Whether you're looking for budget-friendly soft points, bonded hunting bullets, copper projectiles, or premium long-range loads, options are plentiful. That availability becomes especially important when hunting season is approaching and replacement ammunition is needed immediately. The benefits extend to hand loaders as well. Brass is readily available from companies like Federal, Winchester, Nosler, and Norma. Reloading dies from RCBS, Hornady, Redding, and Lee remain easy to find. Bullet selection spans roughly 25 to 220 grains, providing tremendous flexibility. One rifle, countless load combinations, minimal supply headaches. Reliability isn't discussed enough when comparing cartridges. The 30-06 case design features generous taper and dimensions that promote smooth feeding and extraction. Whether conditions are dusty, muddy, freezing, or wet, the cartridge tends to cycle exceptionally well. That's one reason it has remained popular across so many rifle platforms. From classic Remington 700s and Winchester Model 70s to modern Tikkas, Ruger Americans, and Savages, the cartridge consistently performs well. Semi-automatic shooters have also relied on platforms like the Browning BAR for decades with excellent results. When temperatures drop, actions get dirty, and opportunities appear unexpectedly. Reliability becomes every bit as important as ballistic performance. After studying the numbers, reviewing field results, and looking at current market conditions, I keep coming back to the same conclusion. The 30-06 Springfield remains one of the most complete hunting cartridges ever designed. Bullet weights ranging from 125 to 220 grains allow hunters to tailor loads for everything from antelope and whitetails to elk, moose, and black bear. Typical 165 grain loads leave the muzzle around 2,800 feet per second, while 180 grain loads average around 2,700. Factory ammunition remains widely available. Reloading components are everywhere. Rifle choices span every budget category. Recoil remains manageable, and the cartridge continues delivering excellent real-world performance. Most importantly, it accomplishes all of this without demanding specialized rifles, expensive ammunition, or complicated logistics. The latest cartridges will continue grabbing headlines. Some are genuinely excellent. But while trends come and go, the 30-06 keeps doing what it has done for more than a century. It works. If you're preparing for the upcoming hunting season and already own a 30-06, keep it. Confirm your zero. Choose a quality hunting load and head into the field with confidence. If you're shopping for a new hunting rifle, don't overlook this classic chambering. Start with a 165 or 180 grain load. Find what your rifle shoots best, and spend time learning your trajectory and wind calls. Flashy new cartridges may dominate the conversation, but the 30-06 Springfield continues dominating where it matters most, on game animals across North America. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below with your favorite 30-06 hunting load. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you downrange.